recently, we have to go to the root. We have to go to the cause. Dealing with the condition itself is not enough.
Dear Mr. Massa, I'm just trying to mind my own business. What's the matter? It's just another day, another black king captured. I'm about to lose my brain, stuck inside this ghetto rapture. I got a lot of smoke. If you want it, you can have it. They want a hat trick, but this is black girl magic. Ain't talking about the kind that'll make you disappear, but I'm talking about the power of the melanin within. Ain't looking for trouble, but I'ma say this one time. I put two dukes up if you try to touch mine. We still want justice for Tamir and Trayvon. You say you don't see color, but racism ain't blind. They targeting little kids whose skin look just like mine. So I'm paranoid, it's a war zone outside. And I'm a black queen, so if you ask me to step out of my car, you gon' have to snatch me. Cause I ain't going no damn well. Had to spend my whole life living unfair. Ancestors got my back and they right here. You can never understand, it's a nightmare. Living in my black shoes by the black rules. You can keep your handshake, I don't dap coons. The white man to go nuts if he cash you. But you all on his side like a damn fool. Make it make sense.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
We are exploited. We are downtrodden.
Make it make
We are
sense.
denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation
Queen.
away from us or aside from us is come together
Queen.
against the common enemy. Who taught you to hate the texture of your
Ahmadiyyah.
hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin?
Ahmadiyyah.
Parents, pay attention to the books, the school system, even to your little children. Lies mixed with wisdom. His skin too bright, so he was blind to the prison. My skin just right, so I collide with division. You trying to pray to God, but we tired of religion. No savior saving, we got to save our savings. We used to pay miss, how we gon' make the slave rich? But who's to blame, and tell me why you complaining? We need a team effort just to rule the nation. Like a bad relationship, missing communication. We missing moderation. They're trying to get a poison to my population. No reparations, I'm getting tired of Satan.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
I'm getting tired of waiting.
We are downtrodden.
Queen.
We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation.
Queen.
Touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all in Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get mad. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threat.
This is the sound of informant.
It's a cut on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threat. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans, and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood? It's me now.
sorry, y'all, for all I've done. But I'm not the only one. In a dark place, I told some lies. But I'm not the only one. We all got secrets under the sun. In the shadows, we played the game. Now I'm standing here taking the blame. A lot of y'all was at the freak off too, so don't put it all on me. That's just the truth. I've been up and down this road trying to find my peace. Confessions of a man without a release. Oh, now, hey. In the mirror, I saw the truth hiding in plain view. I'm coming clean now, this burden to undo. We were all there dancing shadows in the night, acting wrong when we knew what was right. But deep inside, there's more you must see. In this room of mirrors, it's not just me. I walk this path with heavy chains, trying to shed those sins, erase the stains. I've seen the highs and the pushing low, fading in the spotlight. That's how it goes. Now I'm standing here, hard on my sleeve, trying to clear the air, let the demons relieve. Every wrong turn and every mistake led me to this moment to let my soul quake. Plays a part in the shadows deep, lost in the game. It's promises to keep.
All right, hello everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your morning wake-up call. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. If you have not done so already, be sure to click the notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. All right, Jeff ATL said Kanye was at the freak-offs too. Yes, apparently he was, okay? So that all been said, likes up, everyone please like and share. Please don't forget to double check and make sure that you're still subscribed to the channel, especially if you have not been receiving those notifications. All right, and thank you in advance, beloveds. Okay, so now let's get down to it. For those of you who missed the impromptu video that I did last night, please go back and watch it. All right, please go back and watch it. Also, I'll be going live on the backup channel right after this because I'm trying to get down to the bottom of who killed this little 8-year-old black child by the name of Noah Bush. Okay, this story came out about 2 months ago, and I've been following it, and there is scarcely details given out by the police. There was an update June the 14th, but not much details. And then there's some other information that apparently was found by someone on TikTok. Nonetheless, Prophet P.I., you all remember him? I had him on the show before. So with that all being said, we're going to get into it because this death that they claim was by drowning and that nothing nefarious happened, no evidence of foul play is what they initially said real quick. It really reminds me of the death or the murder of Jason Smith, 14 years old, in 2011 in Louisiana, which I reported that to you all about 2 or 3 years ago. Okay, so we're going to talk about that on the backup channel. We're going to do a deep dive into it, all right, because we didn't get to the bottom of it. All these little black kids coming up missing, drowned in lakes and all that, and nobody knows nothing. Yeah, and the police quick to say no evidence of foul play. So we're going to talk about that. With that all being said, don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Dr._AShakur, TikTok at Dr. Shakur, and Twitter at DGoddess27. All right, as per usual, if you don't like what the Queen is cooking, you already know what to do. Simply exit stage left. There's no need to announce yourself on the way out. All right? All right, so hello, Pearlie, Pamela, Terry Hinton. Nessie X is here, Overthoughts. Okay, above all that drama, Pincy Lola. All right, Nessa G, Miss Evie is in the house. Said, Queen, I just saw your video from last night. I was knocked out. It was real good. Thank you, beloved. All right, so let's get into it. Bookhorse DC. Timber Dan is in the house. Perplex. All right. With that all being said, hey, Sandra. Mr. Mystical Black Rams. All right, Leon Gardner's in the house. You is here. All right, Darnell. Shout out to my moderators putting in work. All Hell No is in the house. Deronda, Claudette. All right, so let's get into it. Everyone, please get those likes up. Hey, Bronze Flat Power God. Neon Black is in the house. So let's get into it. First of all, let's start with the update on Diddy. Okay, they had an update from a couple of days ago talking about his investigation from the federal grand jury. So let's talk about it. Now, according to sources in media, the nature of this investigation into Diddy is still unknown. Now, here's the update. They say a statement from Jonathan Davis, attorney for Sean Diddy Combs. He says, no matter how many lawsuits are filed, it won't change the fact that Mr. Combs has never assaulted or trafficked anyone. We live in a world where anyone can file a lawsuit for any reason and without any proof. Fortunately, a fair and impartial judicial process exists to find the truth, and Mr. Combs is confident that he will prevail against these and other baseless claims in court. Yeah, well, we'll see about that, because what I happen to know is that when the feds come and conduct a whole raid, when the Homeland Security investigators come and conduct raids, especially more than one, all right, even if no one's arrested, which is usually the case, but even if no one's initially arrested, we know that the judge or judges who signed off on those warrants would never have done so unless and only if there was viable information, proof, and evidence that led them to think or at least believe that there is going to initially be some sort of indictment, okay? That's what judges wouldn't just do. Now, so goes on to say, the Diddy scandal might get a whole lot scarier, as a federal indictment could reportedly be closing in. Now, moreover, two sources allegedly confirmed that a federal grand jury in the Southern District of New York is officially involved in a criminal investigation into him, and it is currently hearing evidence on the matter. Now, while the specific goal, motive, and considerations behind this probe remain a mystery at press time, authorities notified Sean Combs and his legal team of this development last week. Now, per this source, this still doesn't indicate whether or not an indictment will arrive soon. Furthermore, there's still a possibility that this criminal investigation doesn't complete the case, and we might have to wait longer to see what becomes of Diddy in the legal system. Now, this probe is taking place 3 months after federal raids on his Miami and LA properties on multiple occasions, or on multiple accusations and lawsuits alleging assault, abuse, and trafficking. Now, the latest of these suits comes from Andrea English, who claims Puff Daddy groomed her for trafficking work after 2004. She also claimed that he tried to coerce her then partner into oral relations, okay? Fellatio, nonetheless, okay? Included Tamiko Thomas as a defendant for allegedly organizing the trafficking ring and other abhorrent allegations. Now, mind you, this is what I talked about last week, and you all may remember that, as I told you on last week, I told you that this lawsuit was coming on May the 2nd of 2024. Surely you heard it here first. Unless, however, you have a subscription to Tasha K's streaming platform, and you heard the entire interview, which I played you a clip. All right, so that all being said, they say exclusive. Sean Diddy Combs' legal team has been notified by federal authorities that he is the subject of an ongoing criminal investigation, according to two sources familiar with Combs' ongoing legal troubles. Now, with this whirlwind in mind, it's no surprise that Diddy has put his $70 million Los Angeles mansion up for sale. Okay, this was just recently. I reported that last week. Now, the actual details around the potential indictment are still a mystery, and it could still take longer to manifest. maybe the court chose to go to gather as much evidence as possible and see how the fallout from other developments changes things. Either way, he's got a lot to handle. And I want you all to also remember that with the information that I gave you about the big law firm, Grubman, Marsalis, Shire, and Sachs, when they dropped Diddy, and they denied that it had anything to do with Lady Gaga, but as I told you, if you have sense, you know that they couldn't tell us even if she did, because that's attorney-client privilege. And at the end of the day, it is very plausible, and I absolutely believe that Lady Gaga did tell them this, because like I said, she did the same thing before with Nicki Minaj, telling the manager to basically give the manager an ultimatum, allegedly, and then also she's a victim of assault herself and has spoken out on several occasions about being assaulted and spoken up for victims, and even denounced R. Kelly, and then apologized for ever working with him, and took his music, or the music that they did together, With My Body, Do What You Want With My Body, I believe it's the song, had that taken down from all streaming platforms. Now, the reason I reiterate this is because at the end of the day, it's likely, another thing that is likely, as I told you, is that if Lady Gaga were to walk away from that firm, which has a myriad of Hollywood celebrities in their pocket, has a myriad of them that they've worked with for years and decades. I mean, they are legendary in Hollywood, okay, as they say. So that all been said, if Lady Gaga walked, many others may have also walked, and they don't want to risk it. And although they may have been involved in some of Diddy's shady practices or known about it prior to him doing these things or whatever, at the end of the day, if they were involved, the thing is, you can't stop now. Separating yourself from Diddy at this point is not going to help if you've already helped him in any way, shape, or form either commit or cover up a crime. Okay, so when fake Nancy Drew continuously says, oh, they're going to be facing RICO, they're afraid they're going to get RICO, well, at the end of the day, whether they're afraid of getting RICOs or not, that would have nothing to do with them trying to separate themselves from Diddy. And if they were foolish, which I know that they aren't, because they're like a top law firm, if they were foolish enough to think that simply separating yourself from someone after crimes have been committed that you were in fact involved in is going to stop you from facing the consequences, well, they wouldn't be that smart. And clearly they are. Okay, so with that all been said, I want you to pay attention to who actually brings proof and receipts, and who actually brings a whole lot of foolishness and speculation and tells lies and makes up things. Please pay attention. All right, now, of course, Trump's attorneys did get into a bit of trouble, but that was all political. Had absolutely nothing to do with the case involving Diddy. Totally two separate things, and people can try to connect dots if they want, but at the end of the day, when you connect dots, please make the dots that you connect make sense. All right, fake Nancy Drew. With that all being said, just anticipate that fake Nancy Drew is hilarious. Yes, she is. And she actually got that theory from some of her subscribers. One of her subscribers or two told her that, and that's where she got that from. So please pay attention. She doesn't even come up with a lot of the foolishness on her own, is all I'm saying. Now, with that all being said, now let's go to this video, because there is a former FBI agent who had some things to say. Ex-FBI agent says they're not surprised about Diddy and this debacle. And so we're going to get into that. I'm going to share my screen so you all can see it. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Oh, and then it says, meanwhile, Diddy recently went whitewater rafting in Wyoming, so at least he's taking his mind off of things, or trying to anyway. We can't imagine how difficult this scandal must be for the Combs family, regardless of the truth of these allegations. But it's much more important to get to the bottom of them for the sake of countless other affected families, and it seems like we're getting closer to that. Okay, so now we must simply just wait a second. Yeah, that's all we can do is wait, all right, to get to the bottom of it. And I hope that the bottom of it has gotten to. Please pay attention. Okay, so now I'm going to share my screen so you all can see what this former FBI agent had to say about Diddy and all his BS. Okay, above all that drama, said that chick loves stealing other people's talking points. Oh, yes, she clearly does. She clearly does. And she's always trying to debunk me, but the problem is you can't really debunk me when I have the proof and facts. Okay? I do insert my opinion all of the time, but I also have proof and facts that make it make sense. Okay, I'm sorry. Don't be mad at me because she didn't have sense enough to know or go do the research to find out that Lady Gaga is a victim of S assault herself. Anyone who's a victim of S assault wants absolutely nothing to do with somebody who's accused of S assault. That I can assure you. All right, so let's get into it. I'm going to share my screen. Like stuff, everyone please like and share. All right. Broad Slap Her God said, facts, queen. Thank you, beloved. I mean, you can try to debunk the queen of receipts all you want, but you're still fake Nancy Drew at the end of the day. And that's just facts. Okay, here we go.
Combs now accused of drugging and raping a college student multiple times. This suit, just the second filed against Diddy in the past week. His latest accuser is April Lampros. She is accusing Diddy of drugging and raping her 4 times, beginning when she was a fashion student in New York City more than 20 years ago. And this comes after the disturbing video emerged showing Diddy viciously beating his ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura in 2016. In a new statement this week, Ventura thanking everyone for their support, saying, quote, "My only ask is that everyone open your heart to believing victims the first time." Diddy admitted to this brutal assault in an Instagram apology video after previously outright denying her claims.
My behavior on that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video. I'm disgusted.
Here now to discuss these latest developments is News Nation national security analyst Tracy Walder, former FBI special agent and CIA officer. Tracy, thank you so much for joining us on this.
Thank you for having me, Natasha.
Let's start with this latest lawsuit now. This is the 8th suit against Diddy since November. It is the 7th that accuses him of sexual assault. And she accuses Diddy of these 4 instances of sexual assault from the mid-90s to the early 2000s. What is your reaction to these latest allegations?
Well, unfortunately, I'm not surprised. I think Ms. Ventura was extremely heroic and brave in terms of coming forward with her claims. And now that this video is out, I would imagine that some of his alleged victims may feel more comfortable and more empowered in coming forward. So I unfortunately think that we may see more of these coming up.
Let's talk about Cassie Ventura more, because she is now responding to the video of her being violently assaulted by Diddy. She is saying that domestic violence, quote, broke me down to someone I never thought I would become. Of course, she's encouraging people to listen to the victims, believe the victims the first time. And her suit against Diddy has been settled. Could this video, could his admission mean anything for these other pending lawsuits now, or the federal investigation surrounding him?
I'm not sure how it will factor into the federal investigation, but I do think in some of these pending lawsuits, and I have said this all along, I do think that the release of this video will cause him to most likely settle those, because now we have a pattern of behavior on camera, and it is going to be very, very difficult for him to combat that, any other narrative other than what's out there now. Now, in terms of the federal case, I believe really a statement from Ms. Allred actually last week on your show, when she talked about the idea that if there is a RICO charge that's brought in, and we could maybe look at some of this in terms of establishing a pattern of sex trafficking, then potentially that could be factored into the federal case, because for the most part, there's a 10-year statute of limitations on adult sex trafficking, but then there's even more so a longer statute of limitations with that RICO charge.
Yeah, I appreciate you bringing that up again. And the entertainer, you know, he's yet to be formally charged with any crime at this point. But at this point, is there any way you think he could get off scot-free?
You know, in my opinion, I go back to those initial raids actually on his 2 homes. I believe that a federal judge is not going to sign off of those with complete absence of any evidence that a crime may have occurred. And so I do believe that he will not get off scot-free. Now, what that's going to be, I'm still not sure, although my gut says it has something to do with a RICO charge, but I don't see him getting off scot-free. In terms of the sexual assaults, unfortunately, I do think that the statute of limitations has passed for the most part on those pending cases, which is highly unfortunate.
I've been having UTIs for 10 years.
It was wreaking havoc on my body.
It's just kind of felt like an impossible problem. And that's when I came across you.
All right, so with that all being said, you all heard that, and that's nothing new, because I told you all that months ago that absolutely, like I said today again, anything that the judge signs off on, they're going to have information about that. They're going to have some sort of proof. And let's not forget how even in the Breonna Taylor case, if you remember, I was going in about how those officers got that warrant fraudulently obtained, because they really didn't have any valid reason to get the warrant to search Breonna Taylor's property in the first place. So you absolutely have to have some good reason, good evidence, or some, valid cause, probable cause for them to sign off. And I also pointed out to you how allegedly the judge involved in that case was supposed to be somewhat of a shady character, quite frankly, unethical, allegedly. Okay. So with that all being said, moving right along, now let's talk about him and Jay-Z. Because I have been telling you, those of you who are my day ones, you know that I was telling you all the way back in 2021 that I thought that Jay-Z and Diddy were fans. And the reason I always thought they were fans is because of all the things that they've gotten away with throughout decades. Now, we've heard a lot about Diddy, but there were some things that we may not have heard about Jay-Z until later on. So anyway, let's talk about it. Like, sub, everyone please like and share. Because whether you noticed it or not, both Jay-Z and Diddy almost lost their careers and their freedom in 1999. Okay, everything collapsed on them. Okay, so let's get into it. All right, so with that all been said, like, stuff, everyone please like and share. Now they talk about Diddy throwing himself a 50th birthday bash at his Beverly Hills mansion, attended by such high-wattage stars as Kim Kardashian, Leonardo DiCaprio, Kanye West, Kevin Hart, Jay-Z, and Beyonce, which that's the video that I use when I'm playing the song at the beginning, the intro. That's what that video is from, his 50th birthday party. I just want you all to see some of the stars that are actually attending parties for Diddy, but that are now silent, not saying a mumbling word. Okay, please pay attention. So with that all being said, it was a world away from Jay-Z and Combs' gritty days coming up in New York City, and from where the two were in the month of December 20 years ago. Now, back then, both found themselves in perilous positions that could have stalled their careers and legacies and even landed them in prison. Combs' arrest on weapons and bribery charges in an incident that left 3 injured was huge news at the time, made all the more scandalous because of his glamorous girlfriend at the time, Jennifer Lopez, who was also arrested. But meanwhile, the memory that Jay-Z stabbed a man has faded with time, and his reinvention as a social justice activist and one half of the most influential couple in music alongside his wife Beyonce. Now, for Jay and Diddy, the arrest brought on the decision of, am I going to shed the pretenses of the streets? And this is according to Dan Charnas, the author of the book, The Big Payback. And if you haven't read it, I suggest you do, because it's juicy. Now, the 2 incidents also had a lasting societal impact, leading to an evolution in the the NYPD, and establishing the idea that rap was too big a money game to play in the streets anymore. Now, in the 90s, success in hip-hop was about artistic bragging rights and being the realist, according to industry expert Star Rex Rock. Now, success in hip-hop is how mainstream can I go. So the end of the century was a turning point for hip-hop, which was overtaking pop culture from radio to fashion. And in 1998, for the first time, the Bronx-born art form outpaced America's then top-selling format, which was country. But as the industry grew more lucrative, artists seemingly still had something to prove. There was more money in hip-hop, says Charnas. Things started to change. Now, the battle to stay on top and stay connected to the streets where rap was born led to confrontations with the law. For many artists, it wasn't enough to write about the complexities of the hood life. You had to actually live it, you see. They wanted and needed street cred. Please pay attention. So in 1998, Busta Rhymes was arrested for possessing a loaded, unregistered pistol. The next year, DMX was booked after officers found a gun and drug paraphernalia at his Teaneck, New Jersey home. Slick Rick and the Wu-Tang Clan's ODB had both time at Rikers, or they both did time at Rikers in the 90s, while Suge Knight pleaded no contest to assault. Now, to some degree, violence wasn't just accepted, it was expected. And on December the 2nd of 1999, Midtown's Kit Kat Club was packed with revelers celebrating rapper Q-Tip, Prince, Lil Kim, and Eve were all on hand. Now, as the top player in the rap game, Jay-Z, the former drug dealer from Brooklyn Projects turned Rockefeller Records mogul, was riding high on the chart-topping success of his album, Volume 2, Hard Knock Life. And now you all may remember that before Hard Knock Life, they were literally about to drop Jay-Z from the label. Okay, at one point, they were about to drop him from the label. All right, now his first headlining tour had just become the biggest grossing hip-hop tour ever, pulling in $18 million. Now, as Jay-Z and his entourage made their way through the crowd, tensions rose when they spotted Lance Rivera. The producer who had worked with the rapper had allegedly been distributing bootlegs of Jay-Z's not yet released album, Volume 3, Life and Times of S. Carter. The Life and Times of S. Carter. Now, Lance, you broke my heart, Jay-Z reportedly said before pulling out an 8-inch knife. Thugs, okay, please pay attention. Now, a witness told the media back in 1999 that Jay-Z stabbed the Undias recordings label head as members of the rapper's crew stomped and beat Rivera with liquor bottles, leaving him with shoulder and abdominal injuries. Now, Rivera was taken to St. Vincent's Hospital in stable condition. Later that night, Jay-Z turned himself in and was arrested on 2 charges of first-degree assault. He pleaded not guilty. If convicted, he would face up to 15 years in prison. They say Jay was defending his honor, said Rock of the stabbing. Now, but not only did the rapper not have to met out punishment anymore, he had everything to lose if he did. If unbootlegged your album, there are lawyers to deal with that. You don't deal with that, Charno said. That was the headspace that he had to get out of. You see how they say you can take the person out of the ghetto, but you can't take the ghetto out of them? This is a prime example. Please pay attention. Now, a few weeks later, on December the 27th, same month, same year, Diddy, then known as Puff Daddy, and his girlfriend J-Lo, Jennifer Lopez, were partying at Club New York when his protege, Jamal Shine Barrow, or with his protege, Jamal Shine Barrow. It can't be stressed enough of what a power player Combs was at the time. His Bad Boy Records empire boasted annual sales of $130 million. The year before, he had launched his successful Sean John fashion line and hosted the first of his annual star-studded white parties in the Hamptons. Now, 2 years earlier, his I'll Be Missing You had become the first rap track to debut atop the Billboard Hot 100. He had plenty to celebrate, including Shine's upcoming debut album. Now, while leaving the Times Square club, Combs bumped into a man named Matthew Scar Allen, knocking a drink from his hand. Allen pushed back, leading up to a fight and shots being fired, where 3 clubgoers were injured. Now, Combs and Lopez fled in his Lincoln, only to be pulled over by police after running a light. A gun was found in the car, and the couple was arrested, along with bodyguard Anthony Wolf Jones and Barrow. Now retired NYPD Detective Derek Parker was at the Midtown South Precinct when they were brought in. They say there were all these high-profile lawyers barricaded in the station house waiting to talk to the desk officer. they had J-Lo handcuffed to a pole. I want you all to pay attention. She was probably out of her mind. Can you imagine? You're a whole celebrity, but yet you're handcuffed to a pole like a common crook. Now, Lopez was absolved within hours, while Diddy was indicted on 2 counts of criminal possession of an unregistered gun and attempted bribery for allegedly trying to get Jones to claim the weapon was his. Like stuff, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Now, like Jay-Z, Diddy faced up to 15 years in prison. 3 months earlier, he had pleaded guilty to a harassment violation, down from the original charge of felony assault and the beating of a music executive. Now, the NYPD, meanwhile, was taking notice of the uptick in violence. Officers would ask me, why was the hip-hop world, why has it become so violent? Assessed Parker, who's the author of Notorious COP, about the NYPD's Enterprise Operations Unit. Now, Parker helped to establish the so-called hip-hop cop team following the unsolved 96 and 97 murders of rappers Tupac Shakur and Christopher Notorious B.I.G. Wallace. Now, as the Post reported earlier this year, the unit drafts reports about scheduled hip-hop shows at city clubs and designates each as posing a low, minimum, or high risk for violence. Okay, so they basically are monitoring them at this time. They were monitoring them. Please pay attention. So the truth is the rappers were never the big problem, Parker explains, saying most of the time it was the crew that they kept around them. It was an atmosphere where members of the crew felt like they had something to prove to the artist. Now, unlike Jay-Z, however, Diddy had a relatively middle class upbringing. And I want you to pay attention to this, because I told you all this before, that Diddy grew up with a mother who was a teacher. He had a nice little privileged life, even though his father was a gangster and died when he was 2 years old. His father, I'm sure, left the majority of his drug ill-gotten gains, shall I say, to the mother. Okay? And Diddy wants to sit there and pretend that he struggled and that he got it from the mud. Okay? Please pay attention. Now, Diddy took on the pretenses of that life, Charter says. For Jay, it was more of a reflex. So basically saying Diddy was only faking, trying to act bad. Like the song that he and Young Miami did, Act Bad. Yeah, that's exactly what he was doing. And anytime someone tries to be something they're not, they overdo it. That's why Diddy's raised so much hell and mayhem and mischief. That's why he called his record label Bad Boys. That's what he wants to be. He wants to emulate. He's always wanted, in my opinion, to emulate what his father did, the lifestyle that his father lived as a true gangster. And even down to, as we can see, becoming a federal informant and snitching and selling out your own. But please pay attention. We'll get into that. Now, goes on to say, for Jay, it was more of a reflex that he needed to reckon with because he literally came from that lifestyle. Now, the 6-week club, and this is likely why Jaguar Wright said that Jay-Z is worse than Diddy. That may be one of the reasons she said that, because Jay-Z is really about that life. Diddy pretended to be about that life for so long that he actually became about that life, as far as I'm concerned. Now, the 6-week club New York trial was kicked off in January 2001. It became a national media obsession. Diddy was represented by Benjamin Brofman and Johnny Cochran, the biggest name lawyers money could buy. It paid off when he was acquitted. Barrow, age 21, however, was convicted of 2 counts of assault, as well as reckless endangerment and gun possession. Some conspiracy theorists speculate that Barrow was a fall guy. He was sentenced to 10 years in prison, serving 9 before being deported to Belize, where his father was the prime minister. Now, although he released a mixtape in 2001, his career never recovered. It's been said that Diddy dropped the nickname Puff Daddy for P. Diddy in 2001 to reinvent himself after this arrest. He's now an entrepreneur boasting per Forbes a net worth of $740 million with a portfolio that includes the cable network Revolt, Sean John, and Ciroc Liquor. Well, all that's gone, as you can see. Now, Jay-Z pleaded guilty to a misdemeanor assault charge in 2001, receiving 3 years probation. In his 2010 book, Decoded, he wrote that he took the plea out of fear prosecutors would hit him even harder after Diddy's non-conviction. So basically, Jay-Z thought that they would make an example out of him because they didn't get anything on Diddy. He now holds the title of hip-hop's first billionaire with an empire that includes the Roc Nation Entertainment and Sports Company. Now, the influential rapper remorsefully reflected on the stabbing in the 2017 song Kill Jay-Z, saying, "You got a knot in your chest. Imagine how a knife hurts. You stabbed over some records. Your excuse was he was talking too reckless." His last couple of albums show Jay thinks pretty deeply, says Charles, but I don't think he's fully squared his impulse to be a truth teller with his impulse to have power, money, and control, and those don't always play well together. Both incidents would have a lasting effect on the hip-hop cops, with the unit beefing up its presence at clubs shortly after these two events. Recently, the unit has come under fire for what critics believe is the brazen profiling of rappers such as 50 Cent and Remy Ma. Now, the events of 1999 also left an impression on younger rappers who are more aware of maintaining a corporate-friendly image once they reach a certain level of success. All right, and so they go on to say, they talk about the raps that kept it real, the raps that keep it real ethos of the 90s, that they wanted to emulate that at some point. And there was a period when it was cool to be a goon in hip-hop, but that's no longer the case. This is what Bloggers Can't Be Trusted. The guy who wrote Bloggers Can't Be Trusted by the name of Rock. This is what he said. Okay, lights up, everyone. Please like and share. Thank you in advance. Now artists say, nah, we can't settle things like we did before. Okay, so some of them have learned their lessons from watching the fall of others and for other people who got into trouble. And so basically, you know, this is why they say that Jay-Z and Diddy initially started being informants for the feds. Now, as you may recall, I showed you did a video months ago showing you the proof that Diddy was a confidential informant. This stuff is documented. At the end of the day, Diddy was working for Agent Mike Parody. Okay? Now he's retired. But at the end of the day, yes, he was working for this man supposedly in 1995. Okay, with that all being said, lights up, everyone. Please like and share. Thank you in advance. Or was it 2005? I don't actually recall. I'll have to go back to that video. But so let's get into this. I'm going to share my screen so you all can see a couple of these videos. One of them, the first one I'm going to show is Natanya Rubin. And then I'm going to play one with Gene Deal talking, but also there's other information of people talking about some things that Diddy and Jay-Z both have been exposing. Lights up, everyone. Please like and share. Thank you in advance.
I'd considered myself a New York girl. I had no intentions of leaving. And probably had this happened, I probably would have never left. But when the district attorney's office gets information from one of their confidential informant sources saying that there's a bag on my head, but now I look out the window after I got shot by Puffy and all of these SUVs blacked out on the corners and on the blocks of my house. Why? Scar was on the run after a while because he learned that they had a bag on his head. He eventually got arrested for something. Not too long after he got out of jail, they took him out. He's dead. And I don't know that the bag was ever taken off. I know that most people that he comes against and there's some negativity, they end up dead. I'd consider.
Okay, you all heard that said. Most people that he gets into it with, they come up dead. And this looks to be absolutely true. Now, mind you, when she spoke about Scar going on the run and that there being a bag on his head, Scar is the same person that I referred to in the article, whom they say is the person that Diddy initially bumped into when they entered the club in 1999, in December of 1999, okay, 2 days after Christmas. So he supposedly bumped into Scar and the drink spilled, and that's how the whole altercation supposedly started. Now, she's saying that she was informed by the feds that there was a bag on her head. as well as, and then they felt like there was one on Scars too. That's why he went on the run. So please pay attention. Diddy's been doing a whole lot of dirt for a long time, and the people that he's been doing this dirt disproportionately are black folks. So when idiots come out here talking about, oh, we're trying to bring another black man down, and we shouldn't be saying this, that, and the third about Diddy, they need to sit down somewhere because they sound real stupid. What would they have been saying if Diddy had done any of these nefarious things of which he's accused of to some of their loved ones? Okay, I doubt they'd be having the same energy, is all I'm saying. Now, with that all being said, likes up, everyone, please like and share. Now, I'm going to, hold on, beloveds. Okay, I'm going to pull up this video with Gene Deal talking.
That's the interview we did. You said that Diddy, he was an informant, and that went viral. And, you know, we got a good reaction for that. But you had some people that, you know, they was wondering, how do you know that Diddy was an informant? And they wanted you to go more into detail about it. Can you do that?
Well, see, if I'm in the car with Kirk Burrows and him and our driver, and we go down to 26 Federal Plaza, I know 26 Federal Plaza is the FBI office. All right? Now, what they went down there and what paperwork they took down there, I did not know until I found out later that he was working with an agent in D.C., but he was arrested by an agent in New York. But I can't go into it, and the reason I can't go into it is because another individual found out this information and it's owed to him. But when Fox News and everybody say they can't find out who the agent is, that's bullshit. It's online. If you got certain systems that you could find out who the agent is, because we found out who the agent is, but it's not my story to tell. I would tell you that, brother, but it's not my story to tell. It belongs to somebody else, and they're going to see it come out. Puff was hit with a 40 rule because it's called a Rule 40, because he didn't show up at the agent's office in D.C. The New York agent arrested him. He got adjudicated of all charges in January of 1999. Was it 99? I think it was 99 when he got 99 or 90. Was it 90? It was January of 90. It was either 96 or 99. I wish I could tell you more about it, stuff like that, but I don't have the paperwork in front of me. But when they tell you they can't find out the agent, he's a director now here in New York. It's true. He was hit with a Rule 40 for not showing up to the agent in D.C., and the agent in New York arrested him and charged him, and they end up throwing it out and sealing the case. That's when, and that's how I figured that he was working with the FBI.
And around this time when you found out that Diddy, he was an informant, you said that, you know, Diddy, he told the feds that Suge Knight, Irv Gotti, and Jay Prince was trying to make a company together?
Well, what happened is that Suge Knight was trying to meet up with Dame Dash, Irv Gotti, Jay Prince, Eric B. No. They was trying to get a distribution company. You know what I'm saying? Distribute, publish their own music. They was trying to bring their money together and do that. And what I know of is that, and Jay-Z was a part of this, because I heard Suge probably spoke on this too, that Jay-Z and Puff had somebody write something up to say that they was trying to monopolize, get a monopoly on the industry and start their own distribution company.
But Jay-Z was privy to this information, and Jay-Z was one of the ones that took it back to them. So what did they do? They bought Jay-Z off, to tell the short version of the story. And each one of these individuals had to make a blood sacrifice. So
they told the higher ups, and that's when all those companies start going down, start coming up with federal charges and all kinds of, things that's happened to them. You seen it with Irv Gotti and them. You seen it with Rockefeller breaking up and all that shit like that. That's what I was talking about.
these four gentlemen that got together and was going to put up $30 million apiece to go ahead and create their own distribution company to distribute black music. These people got together and said, we'll never let it happen. It'll happen over our dead bodies. All in 1 week, I'm telling you the short version of the story. All in 1 week, they raided the offices of these four brothers. I'm going to say them again. Damon Dash, Suge Knight, Irv Gotti, and Jay Prince out of Texas. The FBI raided their offices and confiscated their records.
All right, so you all heard it there. Please pay attention. Now, with that all being said, I'm going to play another video. You'll hear Professor Griff again, but you'll also hear from Jay Prince and Dame Dash. Like, sub, everyone, please like and share. I'm going to put an overlay on the screen.
Lifestyle, but nonetheless, they're my brothers. You understand what I'm saying? Yes, sir. We have to look at Damon Dash. We have to look at Suge Knight. We have to look at Irv Gotti. And we have to look at Jay Prince. These four gentlemen that got together and was going to put up $30 million apiece to get and create their own distribution company to distribute black music. These people got together and said, we'll never let it happen. It'll happen over our dead bodies. All in 1 week, I'm telling you the short version of the story. All in 1 week, they raided the offices of these four brothers. I'm going to say them again. Damon Dash, Suge Knight, Irv Gotti, and Jay Prince out of Texas. FBI raided their offices and confiscated their records and started piecing together cases against these brothers.
And at this very moment, just based on what I read in the paper, this is the one time that the paper did scare me. And I was like, there has to be some truth to it, is when I read about his affiliation with, informants, that he's in business with certain people. And it's tricky for me to say, but just based on where I'm from, I can't have nothing to do with that. And then just based on...
Do you believe that, though?
I don't know. It's paperwork.
Yeah.
So it's not to believe. You know what I'm saying? There's paperwork. So that part of it scares me because I know Biggs is in jail. I know Irv Gotti's been harassed for years over shit he didn't do. I know they've been fucking with me for years. So it just means I need to stay over here. You know what I'm saying? So I love Jay, but let's say I find out that any of that shit, I can't fuck with him at all because that's how I was raised. It ain't no disrespect. I don't know how anyone else was raised. That's it. It ain't nothing to talk about. And it's real serious for me because, your friend, my man's in jail for 3 years over weed. The feds is really on me. It's not like they not. And where I'm from, that shit is not tolerated at all. So because of that, I can't even really, until that gets, that's the only conversation I can have with him until we could move forward. But that ain't for me to be airing out here. It's a question you asked. But just because of what I read in the media, I can't really be over there with him. I have no more opinions about it until I have a one-on-one with him. Because of what I know. That's it. Yeah. But I'm like, that doesn't, that's it. So that's meaning when people ask me about him right now, that's politically, there I am being politically correct because I'm scared.
Okay.
You understand? That's fear. I'm on record saying, I don't know what the fuck's going on. All I know is my man's in jail. All I know is my other man that was with me got fucking a money laundering charge, some old stupid shit. Everybody know Irv's not a criminal. This shit is real, man. And that's all I know. So all I know is based on those rules. I just can't. That's that. So, and hopefully it's not what it's supposed to be. But if it is, that's that.
What is your total lie?
And that's interesting because around this time was also when you were trying to do a distribution label with Suge Knight and Irv Gotti.
Yeah. Myself, Suge, and Irv, we were contemplating doing the first black-owned distribution company. And coincidentally, one may think, you know, all of us was being hit up around the same time. So we understand what happened with Irv, them, and Suge, and the last man standing.
Speaking of that a little bit, Special Agent Jack Schumacher, he was leading an investigation against you, and he killed 6 people in the line of duty, all of which he was investigating. Did you think they put him on your case to take you out?
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. And I think the number is 8 instead of 6.
It was 8? Oh, dang.
Yeah. So, you know, this was a hitman. I don't know no better way to characterize this guy other than a hitman, but they chose him and the agent Chad Scott, who is presently, I think he's been indicted on 13 cases. They put both of these guys on me to wipe me out. You know what I mean? To destroy me, to destroy Rap-A-Lot. And I definitely felt like, you know, it was a hit. And I say that because, you know, one night I left my company, Rap-A-Lot, and a DPS agent pulled behind me. And it was the first time that I ever been stopped one time and told to go to another destination to stop again. But this other spot they wanted me to go to was dark. You know what I mean? It's like in a McDonald's parking lot, but deep in the McDonald's parking lot. And it was dark. And I saw 2 cars over there. So, you know, I had homies following me because they sent several threats to me about what they was going to do to me. These was so-called gangster. They let it be known, you know, they had jumped on a few of my guys, took jewelry, you know what I mean, money. You know, they was doing a lot of scandalous things. So as I pulled over and I looked in that parking lot, like, shit, I'm not pulling in that parking lot. So I pointed, I'm going to go over here to this service station. Pull fucking over on the loudspeaker, he told. I said, no, I'm going to go across here. So I went across the Shell service station, and the officer got out the car and was like, you were swerving. I say, what's the problem, officer? I say, no, I wasn't doing no swerving. Why you didn't pull over where I told you to pull over? I say, sir, I didn't want you to think I was trying to hurt you in that dark, and I didn't want to think you was trying to hurt me. What's the problem? You were swerving. I said, no, you got the wrong man. I don't drink. I don't even smoke. I wasn't swerving. At that time, he asked me, where are your guns? I say, my guns is under my seat. I say, my hands is on the steering wheel. What would you like me to do? How much money you have in your pocket? I say, well, you need some money or something? Why you asking me about my money? So I got out the car, right? And to make a long story short, you know, I'm watching his eyes, so I see him looking over at these guys. And I think some kind of move was made because one of the guys, Chad Scott, pulled over, and the man had like football paint on his eyes and an army fatigue suit. You know what I mean? He whispered something in his ear. And at that point, you know, they decided to give me a warning ticket. But when I got home, my bullets, a few of my bullets was missing out of my gun because he searched my car, right? And, you know, I went home and thought, like, you know, I don't know what they was trying to do to me in that dog, but it wasn't good. You know what I mean? And that was before I hired an investigator to investigate Schumacher. After the fact of hiring an investigator and investigating him, that's when the information came out. This man been killing people. You know, we interviewed his lieutenant. The lieutenant said he never trusted him. This was a retired lieutenant. I never trusted him. The murders that he committed was always questionable. But the guys that he killed couldn't talk. So all I could see was myself being in that situation and with me having weapons. Bam, he reached for a weapon. You know what I mean? So over a decade later, now the very DEA agents, FBI agents reaching out to me to assist them with their own. You know what I mean? And it's an interesting thing.
Whatever happened to that agent?
Well, one of them, Well, one of them got reprimanded at the time because when they went to his office, they found a rap-a-lot piece in his desk. The other one got put on a desk job, and ultimately they moved both of them out of Houston because they didn't want us to run into one another. Because what I done was I went to Washington, D.C., and I wanted to document that I was in fear of my life. You know what I mean? And I wanted to do that for a reason. You know, I'm not going to allow a man to just kill me and not defend myself. So I put them on notice. Y'all got a hitman out here that's trying to do me. Don't be mad if I come out on top. You know what I mean? So that was documented.
All right, so you all heard that. You all heard that, so please pay attention. At the end of the day, Jay-Z and Diddy have been accused of being the feds. Now, I saw someone said, I think it was Overthoughts. I think it was Overthoughts who said that you care more about them R-wording people, physically hurting and harming people than snitching. Yes, absolutely, I do too. But the bottom line is the reason that they were allegedly able to get away with doing those things for years, specifically Diddy, is because they were snitches. That's why they were able to get away with it, in my opinion. You see, when you're a whole snitch, a confidential informant, some things will be swept under the rug for you. So yes, of course, the nefarious things that they did specifically to other people is a bigger problem than them snitching. But I do believe that because they were snitches, is why they were able to get away with those things. Now, with that all being said, like up, everyone, please like and share. Now, I'm going to go to this video because Jay Prince spoke specifically about a corrupt agent by the name of Chad Scott. And this isn't alleged. He absolutely was corrupt. And then also another one by the name of Jack Schumacher. Now, there was a case of a 1997 murder conviction under review after corrupt DEA agent was convicted of perjury. Okay, and this had something to do with, I believe it was Agent Scott. Okay, and this is a black man who was sent to prison supposedly under false pretenses. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Just goes to show you what kind of people they were putting out there. And also, Jay Prince said that this one agent, I believe it was Schumacher, it could have been Chad Scott, I can't remember which, but one of those agents supposedly had deleted like 8 people. Okay, which I find very interesting. Please pay attention. Let me wait for these ads to stop.
New tonight at 10 o'clock, it was a 1997 murder case that didn't get that much attention at the time. A neighborhood dice game ending in gunfire. Well, more than 20 years later, there are new questions about the investigation and the man convicted of the crime.
Channel 2 Investigates discovered a federal agent involved in the case is now in trouble for lying, and someone else has come forward claiming he was one of the triggermen.
Tonight, Channel 2's Brandon Walker lays out the new evidence in the case in a Channel 2 News exclusive, and he has a prison interview with the man who has maintained his innocence for more than 2 decades.
911, what's your emergency?
An emergency spilled about a Fifth Ward parking lot. A dice game believed the beginning of what would be Earl Perry's final moments. A dice game, the focal point of one deadly dilemma.
Mr. Burks, how are you?
One for which Lamar Burks has done hard time. Nearly 19 years for murder. Convicted of a crime Burks says he didn't commit. Couldn't have committed, he insists.
Did you at all even know Early Perry?
No. Never seen the guy, never met him a day in my life.
June 30th, 1997. The parking lot of T's Restaurant, the scene. The after-hour spot for food after a night out across Cavalcade Street at Mr. A's Club. That's where a group stopped by for a dice game, Earl Perry among them, and after a disagreement, bullets flew. Perry was shot 3 times, according to his autopsy, the fatal blow to the back.
Where were you?
Well, I was in Louisiana, en route to my sister's wedding.
Burks's alibi hasn't changed since his first arrest, shortly after the killing, although prosecutors eventually dropped the charge after their sole witness said it was a case of mistaken identity. So how did they circle back to Burks? Seems a larger, more complex tale strings that together. Burks claims a crooked DEA agent locked him up. Now others who say they were there that early morning support his claims.
Had you heard of Chad Scott and Jack Schumacher prior to your case?
Sure, I mean, their names were in the street. You know, you couldn't, you know, especially in the hip-hop community.
In the 1990s, the hip-hop community
Let me stop right there because they're playing music. Now, with that all been said, just to give you an idea of who Jack Schumacher and Chad Scott were. They were known in the streets and they were known for setting people up and telling a whole lot of lies. But at the end of the day, they also went after Scarface, the rapper. Justice comes for the corrupt DEA agent who tried to set up rapper Scarface. Self-described white devil Chad Scott was convicted of using his task force to buy himself a $43,000 truck. And that name is what he called himself. So it says a drug enforcement task force operating along the Gulf of Mexico began a rip-and-run criminal enterprise over a 7-year period, according to federal prosecutors. Now, when jurors convicted the ringleader of the alleged scheme, they also vindicated some long-standing claims leveled by Houston's hip-hop royalty. Drug Enforcement Agency Special Agent Chad Scott, who now faces years in prison after a jury found him guilty of 7 charges, had for years been accused of corrupt conduct toward Ghetto Boys legend Scarface and the Rap-A-Lot Records label. Now, court documents in Scott's case suggest his badge-bearing scammers grew bolder and greedier after early successes stealing from drug dealers. Scott eventually decided that he'd like to have a free Ford F-150. So he had a Houston-based drug dealer who'd been suborned by the crooked police cell by one and then seized it as part of an asset forfeiture. Rather than hand it over to the task force, court documents say he falsified the paperwork about the seizure to say he picked it up in Louisiana rather than Texas. Now, the change allowed Scott to start driving the $43,000 brand new truck as his work vehicle, rendering it, in effect, his personal chariot, whether he was on duty or off. Scott was convicted of multiple counts of perjury and related crimes of falsification related to the truck swindle and other rip-and-run scams. His co-conspirators, including multiple deputies from sheriff's departments around the New Orleans area, who scored plum assignments to the federal task force alongside him. Those were to face trial on related charges later, and the Department of Justice gave this information in the statement. They say an indictment alleges that the corruption ran from at least 2009 to 2016. But some Houstonians have had their eye on Scott and his pals for much longer. Scott and another DEA agent named Jack Schumacher led a probe of Jay Prince's Rap-A-Lot Records starting in the 1990s. Though the label's main prodigies are most famous for their hit, Damn It Feels Good to Be a Gangster, it was featured in the movie Office Space. Scarface and other artists on the label have enjoyed prolific and rich careers outside of that hit. Now, Scott and Schumacher, however, were convinced that Rap-A-Lot was a front for a major trafficking network and used their probe to build cases against numerous people associated with the label. Neither Jay Prince nor Scarface were charged in the sweep, but Schumacher and Scott sought to portray Prince as the button man behind a murder that was successfully prosecuted around the same time. The man jailed for the crime, Lamar Burks, has maintained his innocence in the killing, which occurred during a dice game in the city's 5th ward. Okay, so that's just to give you some insight on a lot of these nefarious things that these two thugs who paraded themselves as agents, what they did. DEA agent who attempted to set up Rap-A-Lot Records, Jay Prince, Scarface found guilty on a number of charges. I mean, there's numerous of articles about it. There's articles on the FBA website and all of that. Jay Prince accuses feds of harassing him for crimes he didn't commit, accuses them of racism. So a whole lot of information on that. With that all being said, it pretty much just goes to show, in my opinion, how Diddy and Jay-Z were able to get away with all of these nefarious things in which they've been accused over the last few decades. Okay, working with federal agents. Okay, Queen Sam said, bring those receipts, real Nancy Drew. Thank you, beloved. All right, and so with that all being said, at the end of the day, these are the things that Jay-Z and Diddy allegedly have done. Sold out their own people, turned their backs on them, and also that they could walk free and continue to do nefarious things. Now, mind you, this is all alleged, but I absolutely believe it. I mean, I showed you the paperwork on Diddy, and I believe it was from 1995. So with that all being said, that is probably part of the reason why in 1999, when Diddy was able to get away with shooting Tanya Rubin in the face, they said that he was able to pay witnesses to lie on Shine. How was he able to get away with that? Likely because he was working with the feds. Okay, please pay attention. And this is all documented for anyone who disbelieves. All you have to do is look up and do your due diligence and research. With that all being said, RG Titan said, wig, take notes, wig too. Okay. Oh, she's taking notes. She's definitely taking notes because someone sent me this the other day. I want to say it was yesterday or the day before. I can't remember, but someone sent me where she's now going back and using the talking points from the Jonathan Oddie video that I noticed, and apparently she didn't, how he was accusing Diddy of, having a trafficking ring, trying to push the Ciroc agenda and all that other stuff, and talking about Trump and all that. Yeah, she's resorted to that. I mean, sorry if you didn't catch it when you first saw the video, Nancy Drew. But with that all being said, let me stop picking on this girl. Y'all are so messy. Y'all are so messy. Queen Sam said, at this point, I'm about to believe that J-Ho did the shooting. Okay? I mean, at the end of the day, you don't know what these people are capable of. All right? Nancy says, just to think, it was said that Jay-Z believed he's the late, great Fred Hampton reincarnated. Why? He was born on Fred's exit date, yet Fred Hampton would never sell out his own people. I know he didn't say that. Jay-Z needs to sit down somewhere. Okay, he needs to sit down somewhere. All right. Overthought said, girl, is that legal? Hit her with a whole straight the other day. I was like, dang. Not with the whole straight. Okay, so that all being said, Christopher Perkins says, no Diddy. Mr. Mystical Black Brown said, we sure is messy when it comes to Nancy nonsense. Not Nancy nonsense. Okay? Dorada says, she still isn't as articulate as our queen, stumbling over words that she clearly can't pronounce. Okay, y'all are just too much. Y'all are something else. Okay, Jesus said, love you to life, queen. I love you right, Black Honey. I love all of my loyal royals. Pay attention. Okay, Michael 2024 said, the rappers be feds. Yes. Absolutely, some of them really do. Now, with that all being said, I'm going to conclude this broadcast. Going live on the backup channel right after this. Please be sure to tune in. We've got to get to the bottom of it. What exactly happened to 8-year-old Noah Bush? Okay, there's video footage showing some Caucasian boys about his age walking away from the scene, it looks, or doing something with Noah. And at the end of the day, it has also been alleged that they had fought Noah and that they had a problem with him. And so, like I told you, this sounds very reminiscent of the story of Jason Smith, who lost his life, who was murdered back in 2011. Okay? So that all been said, I hope to see you all in the next broadcast. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. Peace.
Hey, yo, Nick, hit him with that flavor. Gold all in my skin, God all in my blood.
Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen, why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got